Before you try to sleep, slow your breathing for a moment. Let the noise of the day fade. This is not a message meant to demand anything from you. It's simply meant to sit with you in the quiet, especially if tonight you wanted to pray but couldn't find the words. If this video brings you comfort or clarity at any point, feel free to like it or subscribe later. Not out of obligation, but so messages like this can reach others who feel the same way tonight. There are nights when the weight inside your chest feels heavier than usual. You lie down, turn off the lights, and suddenly everything you avoided during the day shows up at once. Thoughts, memories, regrets, fears, unanswered questions. You know you should pray. You want to pray. But when you try, nothing comes out. No sentences, no structure. Just silence. And that silence can feel like failure. Like distance. Like you're doing something wrong with God. Many people think prayer requires clarity, emotion, or the right words. We imagine prayer as something articulate, composed, intentional. But what happens when your heart is too tired to explain itself? When your soul is overwhelmed but your mouth is empty? Those are the moments that quietly make people feel guilty. Guilty for not praying properly. Guilty for feeling disconnected. Guilty for lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling closer to exhaustion than to God. But here is something gentle and true. Your inability to express yourself does not mean God is distant. It means you are human, and God has never been confused by human weakness. There are seasons where prayer feels natural and flowing. Words come easily. Faith feels strong. But there are also seasons where prayer feels heavy, slow, almost impossible. Not because your faith is gone, but because your heart is carrying more than language can hold. And in those moments, silence is not rejection. Silence is often surrender. One of the most comforting verses for nights like this is Romans 8:26, which says, "In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans." Notice how honest that is. It doesn't say we always know what to pray. It says sometimes we don't, and when we don't, God doesn't step away. He steps closer. He meets us inside the confusion, inside the silence, inside the inability to explain ourselves. You don't have to translate your pain into perfect sentences for God to understand you. He doesn't require structure. He doesn't demand eloquence. He doesn't wait for you to get it right. He already knows what you're carrying. The silence you feel is not a wall between you and God. It's often the space where God listens most closely. We forget sometimes that prayer is not a performance. It's a relationship. And real relationships don't collapse when words fail. Think about the people you love most. There are moments when you don't need to explain anything to them. They can tell something is wrong just by your presence, just by your silence. God's understanding goes far deeper than that. Some nights, the most honest prayer you can offer is simply staying present, letting yourself be seen without trying to impress, letting God meet you as you are, not as you think you should be. Faith is not proven by how well you speak. Faith is proven by showing up even when you have nothing to say. Many people quietly believe that unanswered prayers or silent prayers mean God is disappointed in them. But Scripture shows the opposite. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit, not those who are eloquent, not those who have it all together, those who are crushed, those who are tired, those who are emotionally empty." If tonight you feel emotionally drained, that doesn't disqualify you from God's presence. It draws His attention. God does not measure your devotion by how spiritual you sound. He measures it by your honesty. And sometimes honesty sounds like silence. There is a kind of exhaustion that comes from holding everything together all day, being strong for everyone else, pretending you're fine, carrying responsibilities, answering messages, making decisions. By the time night comes, your soul feels worn thin, and prayer feels like one more thing you're failing at. But prayer was never meant to be another burden. It was meant to be a place of rest. Jesus never told people to come to Him once they had the right words. He invited the weary, the heavy-laden, the exhausted, people who were done trying, people who had nothing left to offer. And that invitation still stands, especially on nights like this. Sometimes the reason words don't come is because your heart is processing something deeper than language. Healing doesn't always speak in sentences. Sometimes it happens in stillness. Sometimes it happens in tears. Sometimes it happens while you lie quietly, letting God hold what you cannot articulate. Another verse that speaks directly to this moment is Psalm 62:8, which says, "Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge." Pouring out doesn't mean organizing. It doesn't mean explaining everything clearly. It means releasing whatever is there, even if it's messy, unfinished, or silent. A heart poured out doesn't always sound poetic. Sometimes it sounds like a deep breath. Sometimes it sounds like a sigh. Sometimes it sounds like nothing at all. You are not a weak believer because tonight you don't know what to say. You are a real one. Faith is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet endurance. Sometimes it's trusting that God understands what you cannot express. If you've been comparing your prayer life to others, let this set you free. God is not asking you to pray like anyone else. He is asking you to be honest. And honesty tonight might look like resting in His presence without words. That is still prayer. There are moments when all you can do is say, "God, you see me." Or maybe you can't even say that. Maybe all you can do is breathe. And that's okay. The God who formed you understands the language of your breath. He understands the weight behind your silence. One of the deepest misunderstandings about faith is believing that God only listens when we speak. In reality, God listens to the heart long before the mouth moves. Silence does not scare Him. Confusion does not push Him away. Weakness does not repel Him. Tonight, you don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to resolve every emotion before sleeping. You don't need to force a prayer out of guilt. Let God sit with you as you are. Let Him carry what you can't name. Let Him be close without explanation. There is peace in realizing that God is not frustrated with your silence. He is patient with it. He is present in it. And sometimes, the most meaningful spiritual moments happen when we stop trying to sound faithful and simply allow ourselves to be held. As you prepare to rest, remember this: you are not distant from God because you can't pray tonight. You are not failing spiritually because words won't come. You are not alone in this silence. God is here, understanding you completely even now. If this message helped you feel a little less alone tonight, you can like the video or subscribe, only if you feel led to. More than anything, I hope you rest knowing that God understands even the prayers you never said. Tonight, that is enough.